students, welcome to Edupedia Word Videos. My topic for the presentation is fourth section of the chapter Anatomy of Flowering Plants. Flowering plants, they are also called as angiosperms students. In this section of the video, we will discuss about the complex permanent tissue. Okay. In my previous section of the presentation, I have already taught you about the simple permanent tissue. But in this section of the video, we will discuss about the complex permanent tissue. They are heterogeneous in nature, unlike simple permanent tissue, which were homogeneous in nature. So, the complex tissue, they are made up of more than one type of cells, and these cells, they work together as a unit. Xylem and phloem, they constitute the complex tissue in plants, students. Okay, different type of cells, they carry out similar sets of function. That's why they are called as heterogeneous in nature. Now, what are two types of complex permanent tissue, students? First is xylem and second is phloem. First, we'll talk about the xylem. Xylem functions as a conducting tissue for water and minerals from root to the stem and the leaf. It also provides mechanical support to plant body. It is composed of four different kinds of elements such as tracheids, vessels, xylem fiber and xylem parenchyma. Okay, and please note, students, that gymnosperms, they lack xylem vessels in their xylem. Okay, so xylem, this is the wood and the hydrome. So xylem, it helps in the transport of water and mineral. That's why xylem is considered as conducting tissue. It provides mechanical support or strength to the plant body. There are four types of the cells. Tracheids, these are the vessels which are represented by this green color. Third is xylem fiber, which is represented by this yellow and red color. And fourth is xylem parenchyma. So students, gymnosperms, they lack xylem vessels, which are also called as trachea. Okay, so gymnosperms, they lack vessels in their xylem. So this is the transverse section of xylem, which has four types of cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Okay, see, xylem vessel looks somewhat like this. Tracheids xylem, it looks like this, and this is the fiber or xylem fiber. Okay, now we'll talk about the xylem tracheids first. They are elongated tubular cells. They have tapering ends. They are tube-like cells with thick and lignified walls with tapering ends, and these are dead cells and they are without protoplasm. The inner layer of the cell wall, they have thickenings which vary in form. And in flowering plants, tracheids and vessels, they are main water transporting elements. Okay, so they are dead at maturity due to lignin deposition. Okay, where lignin is present, that cell will be dead. Okay, so this way you can memorize it. Main water conducting element in pteridophytes, I'm talking about the tracheids. That tracheids, they are the main water conducting element in pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Okay, now tracheids, this is the longitudinal section of xylem. See, because it has a ring-like structure, so it is called as annular. And if it is helix-like structure, just like DNA, then it is called as spiral. And third is, if it has network-like or mesh-like structure, then that is called as reticulate. Okay, and if it is ladder-like, then it is called as scalariform tracheid. And if it has a small pores in it, or if it is porous in nature, then that is called as pitted. Okay, so these are the LS of xylem tracheids. Now we'll talk about the xylem vessels, which are also called as trachea. So vessel is a long cylindrical tube-like structure which is made up of many cells, which are called as vessel members, each with the lignified walls and a large central cavity. As you can see, this cavity is called as lumen also. And vessels, they are the characteristic features of angiosperms. It is not found in gymnosperms, as I have already taught you. So these vessels, xylem has four types. Okay, tracheids we have already studied. This is another type, that is vessel, which is also called as trachea. So they are elongated tubular cells. They have many vessel elements which are placed end to end. They have transverse walls which are perforated, and they have walls that are lignified but relatively less thicker, and it has a lumen which is wider than tracheids. Okay, and it is found in pteridophyte and gymnosperm. I mean, it is not found in pteridophyte and gymnosperm, because vessels, they are the characteristic features of angiosperms, and it is not found in pteridophyte and gymnosperms. Okay, now trachea are of two types. Okay, trachea means vessel. Okay, xylem vessel, so it is of two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. Protoxylem, it is first formed xylem, and this is later formed xylem. It is made up of small xylem vessels, and metaxylem, it is made up of larger xylem vessels. Protoxylem, they show annular or spiral thickening. I have just taught you, okay, what annular and spiral thickening. So these protoxylem, they show annular or spiral thickening, and metaxylem, they show reticulate, scalariform or pitted thickening. That means it remaining three is shown by metaxylem. Okay, so this is later formed xylem, and this is protoxylem, which is first formed xylem. Okay, now another type of xylem is xylem fiber, which is xylem parenchyma. That means xylem fiber and xylem parenchyma. Okay, xylem fiber, they have highly thickened walls and obliterated central lumen, and it is sclerenchymatous elongated cells with tapering ends. They are also called as wood fibers. Xylem fibers are also called as wood fibers. They have lignified walls that provides mechanical support. Then comes xylem parenchyma, which is parenchymatous cell or made up of parenchyma cells. They are used as lateral conductions of water and mineral. They also stores food. Now comes phloem, that is another complex permanent tissue. Phloem, it provides or it helps in the conduction of food material, usually from leaf to the other parts of the plant. Phloem in angiosperms is composed of sieve tube element. As you can see, this is sieve tube element, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, okay, and phloem fibers. So these are the components of phloem. So we'll talk about the phloem now. We'll talk about the bast and leptome. So phloem, it helps in the conduction of prepared organic food material, that is sugar, is more specifically glucose, to different parts of the plant body, and it is of four types. First is sieve cells, and they are also called as sieve tubes. Another type of phloem cell is companion cell, and third is phloem fiber and phloem parenchyma. Okay, so this is the transverse section of phloem. First we'll talk about the sieve cells. This is the first type of a phloem. It has elongated tubular cells which are arranged longitudinally and are associated with the companion cells. Let's see. And they have tapering ends. So this is the main food conducting tissue in pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Okay, now another is sieve tube element. They have elongated tubular conducting channel that have sieve plate. See, this is perforated sieve plate which is present at the end wall. Sieve tube, they are associated with companion cells, and they are characteristic features of angiosperms. Okay, then comes another type, and that is phloem fiber. Phloem fiber are also called as bast fibers. They are made up of sclerenchymatous cells. Let's see. They are sclerenchymatous cells. They are generally absent in primary phloem, but they are found in secondary phloem. They are lignified cells with simple pits or pores. Okay, and the cell wall of the phloem fiber, it is quite thick, and at maturity these fibers, they lose their protoplasm and they become dead. And the phloem fiber of jute, flax, and hemp, they are used commercially. So it provides mechanical support to the plant body, and it is used for making ropes and rough cloth, as I have just told you. Then comes phloem parenchyma. It is made up of elongated tapering cylindrical cells which have dense cytoplasm in it, and it is the cell wall, it is composed of cellulose and has pits through which plasmodesmatal connection exists between the cells. Okay, and it is absent in monocot, and it stores and transport food material. So this was all about the complex parenchyma cells or tissues, which are xylem and phloem and their types. So in my next section of the presentation, I'll be teaching you about the tissue system, that is epidermal tissue system and ground tissue system and vascular tissue system too. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching Edupedia Word videos. Thank you.